Hello. Welcome, everybody, to episode 79. You know what that means? Of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, a podcast for crew, by crew, and mocked by crew. Several bots are made by crew, which I block. So I keep making them. I'm not going to see them. Anyway, joined as always. Wait, no, I'm Big Joey.
Yep, you're Big Joey, and I'm Big
Yeah.
Keith. This
Yeah,
is,
I know how to do this. Only 79 episodes in, and I haven't figured out how to do an intro yet.
Yep, and we'll have to make sure we introduce the guest twice this week, like last week, right?
I know. I'm pretty sure we only did that once.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So the other voice you heard was Big Keith. He's always
Yep.
here with me.
Howdy, howdy.
And we got Big Darko going on here.
How you guys doing?
Doing
good.
all right. Doing all right. Let's jump right in. What are you drinking? What do you got? Anything cool?
I'm drinking a Slap and Tickle.
Ooh, is that an IPA? I'm guessing.
Oh,
It is it's a West Coast IPA brewery out here called Brewery X.
You put that out there like we all knew what it was.
I feel like
and then just let
You
it
just gotta say it
hang.
first. Yeah.
I'm drinking a Slap
that's
and
the fun
Tickle.
part of the
Like,
name.
what? That's from
Yeah.
Beer Fest. We don't know what that is. A little Slap and Tickle.
It's a good beer, even better name. So
Yeah,
I'll
it's a
get the
good
name
name.
out there first.
I got a fancy Oreo sugar-free Coca-Cola.
Have you tried that? I thought I got feedback.
Oh yeah,
you
no,
didn't
I'm
it.
addicted to it. No, I love them.
Okay, you did like
Yeah.
them. Okay.
Yeah, this is my second case.
I've never had one.
It's delicious.
Tonight I'm rocking a Waterloo, the cherry limeade. I'm super stoked because I don't know if I just haven't always missed it or they just started stocking them. But my Costco actually had Waterloo, and it was like fucking like $12 for like 20 or some shit like that. It was so much better. It was such a good deal.
Yep.
So very stoked for that. Hopefully they keep those in stock. But as Costco does, they won't be there next time I go.
No, that's what they do. And it'd be like, but it's $12 for a case all the time. Yeah, a case of like 12. You get 20 for the same. So it's like,
Well, I don't even care about the price. It's usually just like they just have like shit brands. Like they have
Yep.
flavors that I don't like, or like, and everything's got like 17 different variations of what the fuck? I can't think of the fruit. That's God damn it! What's the tart orange grapefruit?
hibiscus.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that too. But everything's like everything's grapefruit. It's like you get 47 grapefruits and 2 cherries, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. The flavor that sucks. I don't get it. But sorry, I digress.
I digress. All right, what are you guys wearing? What's going on over there?
Not to get political or anything, but I'm wearing a little Jefferson deadlift shirt tonight.
No, it's too late to get political.
Yeah.
Yep. It's our favorite thing around here. What do you got, Darko?
I don't know the name of the shirt, but it's the skull with the barbell.
The gym tee.
Yeah, the Black Massonomics gym tee. That's what we'll go with.
Yeah.
I have a Norse Fitness shirt on, but I am also rocking the new Massonomics Lifting Department blue shorts.
Oh, nice.
Those arrived today.
How do you like those? They are. Would you say they are identical, or are they just really similar to the lift? Because to the squat shorts.
They're the exact same thing, just a different color. The printing's a little better.
Yeah.
Tanner sent me this really nice little "Hey Big Joey, fuck Carol" stream note.
Well, those got there. How'd they get there that early? Or I mean, it's only, I guess the drop's 2 weeks old, right?
Yeah. It took about a week and a half because I slacked on ordering them. And then it was just one of those things like it's like the clown college from Homer from the Simpsons episode where it's just constantly going in your head. And I'm just like, I really like those shorts, but I don't need new shorts. And I did that to myself for about 5 days and was like, no, I need those shorts.
I don't need new shorts, but I don't know. I need to get into I need to find my like weight that I want to settle at. And then
that's what I need. I need a consistent size. That's what I need.
So I'm gonna be doing clothes purchases for a bit. Anybody get a chance to watch the Jim Thompson YouTube video that came out? I want to say Friday. It was like a 5-minute quick little thing. So she just kind of gave a little bench tutorial with Tanner there, and I do have to say, like, she made a whole thing about like bench as wide as you possibly can, essentially, and I'm just like, I can't. I'm sorry. Like, I get that you engage more pectoral muscles, but every time I bench wide, I fucking tweak something. But I can close. My competition bench is like most wide benchers close grips, and I'm just like, it's where I'm comfortable. That's where I'm the strongest. I get that I could maybe be slightly more optimal the wider I go, but You tell that to my fucking strained pec that's never been the same after doing like a short block of fucking wider grip bench. So sorry, Jen, but no thanks.
I think that's just what we call having weak pecs.
Apparently.
Maybe you should just work those pecs a little more and strengthen them.
Yes. Yeah.
My bench.
I'm the same way. Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean when I have to have my pinkies like inside the rings. I used to bench wide, but after doing that for a couple of years, my shoulders just weren't feeling it anymore. So now I'm a narrow bencher.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm barely a bencher at all, but my usually I'm pinky on the ring or ring finger on the ring, just depending on how I set up or how I feel. But I feel like I could close. Like I must be the only 40-year-old man that can say like I don't have shoulder issues. So like I could probably I could probably yeah, I probably could like
no one knows. Okay, he was just
I could probably do
he
either
was
way.
he so for nobody for only our audio listeners because we only put this out on audio. Yeah, for the Davids, Joey was pretending like he had a barbell in his hand and he was bringing his hands in and out of the barbell and the barbell was in his face, so it looked like he was kind of double fisting right into his face, and it was very funny.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was
Caught
that
it
was
myself.
It's like one of those squeeze bars that people are talking about now.
I think there was something like that at Home Gym Con. One of the there was like a whole company that did something like that. I thought, oh no, that was it was the rotating thing. I don't think it necessarily.
No, I know
There
the
was
one.
another
I know the one he's thinking
guy.
of. There's one it slides, right? Like when
Yeah, the heroic fit.
Yeah, like it slides out
like
while
that.
you're doing the movements. I mean, like I said, I'm barely a bencher at all, but I cannot see the value in that at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not for me.
No, and I like to party. Like I am a person that likes to party, and I don't understand that bench at all.
So more on the politics that we like talking about, voting and everything. Not really. There has been a lot of crew on Instagram getting a lot of props the last couple of days. I believe the Instagram's home gym hub, and they've been doing the versus series of like facing off different home gyms because that's a fairly new Instagram someone made up. I'm not really sure who it is. It might even be someone that we already know that just has a secondary account. Not really sure, but just basically posting home gyms to grow his own channel. And I think he has 100 contestants, and he did it like a March Madness bracket right now, and I think there's at least 20 some crew gyms in there, and outside of the crew gyms, there's another fucking at least like I feel like every other slide I recognize at least one person tagged in the stories. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So being able to vote on so far, I don't think I've had to. I think there's only been one bracket where I actually personally knew both people, and it was kind of a slightly like, who do I vote for? But for the most part, it's like, oh, I'm just fuck that other guy. I know this person. I'm voting for them. But that's been cool to see. So I think the first round's wrapping up today, and then I think me and Carp and a bunch of other guys are in the second round, and hopefully a lot of the crew advance, and we'll see what happens. But it's been kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, they followed me, and I was vaguely aware of them because they featured, I think, Murph on their page, and that's kind of what put them on my radar. But again, my home gym is a dank, dark, awful, musty, like 8x8. If it's like two barbells, so like, yeah, I'm not getting featured on no home gym hubs. I'll tell you that. Anyway,
they reached out to me a while ago. I'm like, I'll get you some pictures, and my gym's just been full of crap. So no, didn't get around to that one.
It's all good. It'll. I don't know how big that channel's gotten enough to really get. I think the most people that follow him are just guys like us. I don't think there's like a huge audience on that channel, honestly. But it has grown. It had a few thousand people, I think, which is pretty quick growth though. So it's been pretty cool to see. Another thing that's cool to see is Nate works some magic, and it looks like Glaze Search lives again. I think I was, to my knowledge, I was able to basically download a PDF for him, and he was able to export that versus trying to scrub the website. He's gonna be so proud of me if I said any of those words right.
Wrong again, Keith.
You did
Don't know if I did or not. He's definitely said scrape, scrub, rub a dub dub, fuck you in the tub. I don't know.
Okay, Grandpa.
Get off my lawn. So Glaze Search is back. If Darko's not familiar with that, it's too long of a story to explain, but it's cool for like 6 people.
Yeah, it's like a year of lore. All right, what is 31 days until Crew Falls, and I gotta be honest. I reached out to some of the higher ups and said I don't I don't see me getting my jacket at Crew Falls. It's just, I won't, I'd have to do right now 4 to 5 episodes a day. And it just isn't plausible. But like I made a good run. I'm still working on it. So I'll probably be done by January. So looks like by the Arnold, I'll be at my 15 spots. And then by August, I'll be at the full 16.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be behind you a few months on just hitting 15 unless I can squeeze out a victory for something. But for sure, the fantasy football thing counts towards the Hall of Fame. But I'm like fucking middle of the pack right now, so I don't see winning that. And then I did ask Tanner if the grip contest is going to count towards Hall of Fame, and I'm going to assume it's not. And you hit me really good with the wrong again, Keith, on that one on the Discord. So that was perfect timing. But Tanner was not committal one way or another. But it does sound like there's going to be kind of a grip challenge with multiple awards, not all on performance basis. So there'll probably be like a best effort or silliest or some shit like that. So that'll be cool. I'm curious what we're actually gonna. I can't imagine they're not gonna make wooden plaques, but it's got to be something less in depth than that because But it'll still be cool if someone gets to walk home with some hardware from the Crew Falls meet up there.
It'll be Keith's heads. It'll just be a stack of Keith's head stickers.
He must still have some of those because I knew someone just bought the shirt last week and had the stickers. Like, oh, those are still floating around out there.
All right. Want to do last week's episode rating there, or do you want to talk about your shoe story?
The shoe
I'm
story
on the
was
edge of my seat.
It was more just makes fun of me. I know you guys like that. So I went to the commercial gym, the commercial strongman gym Saturday last week, and I had my barefoot shoes with me, and it was the last thing I took off before I put my Crocs on. I was out the door and didn't think anything about it until I went to go pack my bag like 2 days later, and I could only find one shoe. And I'm like flipping out because it was my barefoot shoes. The Massonomics barefoot shoes are irreplaceable, literally like yeah. So like I can't just go spend $200 and buy a new pair of those because they don't fucking exist. So I DM'd the guy that runs the gym. I was like, hey, if you get a chance, can you look for these? I'm like 99% sure they're there. And he looked all over, couldn't find them. Had a couple other people looking for them, they couldn't find them. I'm like losing my mind. And I was out of town while this was happening too, because I didn't notice it until like right before I had to leave to go out of town, basically. And then I finally asked my wife, "Can you just check the basement one more time?" And then so she saw the one that I knew I had, and then the other one was literally like 3 feet apart, 3 feet away from it, but just underneath my box squat box. Just hidden like at the very back, like kind of like wedged behind that in a shelving unit, and just shot me a picture of it and was just like, "You dumbass." And I was like, "Yeah, fuck." So I was ecstatic that I found it. So
yeah,
I was not, so basically I didn't look hard enough apparently, but
you probably looked at it like 3 times.
I don't know.
Like you looked at the box squat for sure, and went, "This is what men do. Why would it be over there?" Yeah, and didn't go over there. Like I know. Yeah. I know the code.
Yeah.
I'm giving out too much right now, but it's not over there. That'd be stupid for it to be over there. I'm not even going to go look. It's that stupid because that's where it was. Yeah. Steph for the win on that one.
Yeah. But relevant because that would have been a hard one to lose because I really do, shout out to Barefoot, code unpaid. Like, I love your shoes for deadlifts. Like,
we don't have a code with them.
We don't, do we?
No, it's Code Massonomics.
We have friends with so many codes that I can't keep them.
Well, and I know we don't because I want one. Like that's the thing.
That's hysterical.
That's the one place that I get so many weird strangers to buy barefoot shoes. Not so many, like 2 or 3. That it's just like
ours.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh man, maybe I'm just visualizing. Oh, that's really. You're right though. Like we definitely don't. But man, I got so much shit in my brain. It's hard to keep
manifesting.
Yeah, but yeah, Code Massonomics and etc. Yes. Last week's episode, it was supposed to be a title topic, and I don't think they ever really got a title topic, and they just they ended up just being the a mild Q&A.
An accidental Q&A.
Yeah, I think my favorite part was the when he would, Tanner was again at a YMCA and he actually saw a dude benching with like, elbow, with like actual powerlifting gear, and went over and kind of shot the shit with him a bit, and you could tell like I'm assuming it was a younger guy because like the way he was just telling the story, like the kid wasn't super interactive in the story. Like he was just like, "Okay, cool, yeah, leave me alone, old man," kind of thing.
Old man on crutches. Yeah, you're a power lifter. Okay, crippled guy.
and in the end when he was like, "Yeah, I probably should have invited him to Massonomics or whatever, or like told him about Massonomics, because like in reality that kid probably would be twice as strong in like 9 months if he actually got into a real gym and actually like got into a crew of people, because he kept, I think he was like, yeah, no, he was like doing everything right, but he was really only benching like a plate or less than a plate actually.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it was just a smaller, younger kid, but I just found that whole interaction funny, that like, because I get it in Tanner's point of view, it's like it is awkward to like pedal your own gym, but like in this
In
case,
another gym.
this is the one person that probably would benefit from that, and actually and be happy that like it was introduced to him. So I don't know. So for all that, I will go ahead and give it 5 out of 5 missing shoes.
Okay, yeah. Remind me to talk about the phrase interactions. I have a thing I want to talk about, but yeah, definitely listen to that episode. Loved the episode. I love the Q&A episodes because you never know what's coming. I do gotta say I think Tommy said something about like failing a squat, and he just said, "Throw some dirt on me. I had a good run."
Oh,
And I
talking
have
about Larry. Yeah, is
okay.
that Larry says that.
I've been dying over that phrase. Throw some
Right.
dirt on me. I had a good run. I've been
Yeah.
looking for every chance I can to use that phrase. But like in like in something utterly stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like you stub your toe and you just kind of sit down and go, "Ugh, throw some dirt on me. I had a good run. I'm not getting up after this one." Right? Just I think that's a specialty of Massonomics. So I don't know. With that, I'm gonna give that 5 out of 5 inappropriate gym interactions.
What about you, Darko?
Well,
What'd you think, buddy?
no, I liked it. I listened to it, or I watched it. I generally watch most of them on YouTube just
Oh, nice.
because my workstation, I have a TV across my workstation.
Gotcha.
Um, but yeah, no, it was good. I remember him talking about the kid at the gym wearing like the A7 grip shirt, and he had like the elbow sleeves and everything like that. And then he was like, "Hey, he wasn't benching a plate." I'm like, "Whoa, let's maybe." I mean, I get it. I like cool gear too, but if you're not benching a plate, maybe a lot of other stuff to focus on other than what shirt you're wearing. Um, but yeah, no, it was interesting. I felt bad for Tanner, sitting there just not being able to sleep is the worst thing that's the worst fucking thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so definitely feel bad for him. But yeah, no, it's a good podcast. And yeah, I'll give it 5 out of 5 grip shirts.
Perfect. Well done. Well done.
A7 grip shirts. It has to be
Yeah.
the A7.
A7, yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with A1
or SBD. No,
Ooh.
I just wanted to bring up the interactions thing. Was anybody on the Massonomics Instagram watching me mess with people?
Oh yeah, you'd mentioned that.
Yeah, it's like one of my new specialties, I think. It's in a way where like I'm not going to be confrontational. So obviously I'm also in love with the phrase zootin' and getting zooted
What the fuck?
and
No,
all
I had to
variations of it.
I had to Google that, and it basically just means getting so fucking drunk or stoned, which I'm like, well, that doesn't sound like something I want to do. Oh, I probably will get pretty zooted at fucking Crew Falls,
Yeah, getting absolutely zooted.
but I'm pretty sure that I've like, now that I look back, like I don't think anyone's been using that term right there.
No,
So like now
that's the point.
but it's like it's you already have a fake word. At least use the fake word right, like because I'm trying to use context of like I've seen people use zooted like multiple times over the last month or two, and now that like once I went to like and actually Googled it, and like there was like a couple different. Basically, the general consensus was it's getting fucked up, like beyond recognition, essentially. But then I'm looking back at like the context of how people were using it prior, and I'm like, well, that's not how you use the word.
Good.
So
like mess with that word. It's a stupid word. So
man.
I guess as a joke, I said, "Oh, we're using foul language now. We used to be a proper country because we used to be a proper country" is one of the best phrases as
Oh
well.
yeah.
And
You say that this week, people are gonna lose their fucking minds.
I'm gonna say it all the time about
No,
something that
but
has
like with the
nothing to do with it.
politics.
No, I know.
Oh, I
I
get
know. It's great. You only use it in context that has nothing to do with the
it.
actual culture of the
Yeah,
country, right?
true.
And this one guy, like, he got so aggressive with me, and he posted the Rock's gift, "Shut up, bitch," right? And I was like, okay, I know he's a locked account because it's always locked accounts, but I wanted to go make sure he wasn't crew. And I went and I just responded to him, "Hey, I had a witty comeback, but I noticed you're giving the finger in your profile picture, so now I know not to mess around."
That's pretty good.
So if you're listening, bro, I'm just messing with people as gently as possible, but I thought that was really clever. Like, whoa,
That was good.
better not mess with that, guys.
That was good.
Absolutely
Well
zooted on Instagram comments. You got an ad read for us over there, Darko?
I do.
Hit us.
If lifting heavy, staying strong, and having a laugh are your kind of thing, then we've got the podcast for you. It's called Unpaid and Underrated, sponsored by none other than the legends Tanner and Tommy and Massonomics. Massonomics isn't just another lifting brand. These guys have created a movement, a community of friends who lift hard, laugh harder, and let's be honest, take drink spotter safety to a whole new level. On the Massonomics podcast, you'll get everything you love about lifting culture, from in-depth discussions on strength and staying strong, to tips on how to keep your drink spotter game tight, and some hot takes on the fitness industry. So if you want the best podcast on the internet for lifters, join the Massonomics family. It's almost too cheap not to. And also tune in to Unpaid and Underrated, because when it comes to lifting, we all know it's not just a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
I dig
Very good. A fine lifestyle indeed. Speaking of drink safety, I had Morgan in the gym the other day. I have 2 drink spotters. She's putting her drink on the fucking bins over the side. And I was like, what are you doing? And she, I don't like the drink spotter. What do you mean you don't like the drink spotter? It's what it's there for. I don't know. It's, I guess, when you don't like words being used in the wrong sense. That was me. I was like, what are you using a table for? I bought drink holders.
Was it like the OGs or
I've got the original
lights?
and I've got the
because for
first,
sure the
first magnetic one, the light.
because the OG, some depending on what kind of what reservoir of liquid she had, the OG is hard to put.
Bottle. It was a plastic water bottle.
If it's like a 1 liter one,
yeah,
the 1 liter one doesn't fit in the bigger one as well. Just depending on the rack, I guess. I don't know. I struggle to get some of my shit into the OG one.
Still the best one though. Strong as a bison.
Strong as a house, I believe.
Oh, with the best knurling.
Yeah.
All right, kick out all the looky-loos. Do we have any looky-loos? Carp's not here?
Then they might not know it's when we're recording Wednesday, so they might be all.
Yeah.
This was the second week in a row we're doing something weird. We did we did Monday last week.
Yeah, we're slick like that. We're keeping it
Monday last week,
keeping everybody on their toes.
I feel like every time we record on a Wednesday, though, it's like the one night they record on Wednesday, and every time we record on a Thursday, it's the night they record on Thursday. So because Massonomics starts recording in about a half hour themselves.
Good. I hope they have fun with that Evanish.
Evan, it's Evan. Fuck, now you got me. Fuck, his last name's Evanesh, I believe. So is it Evanesh? They can no, it's Zach. Fuck you, no, it's Zach Evanesh. It's not Evan. It's Zach Evanesh.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's a.
Did Mike Wick punch him out? Like that's all I.
He's a lifting coach, and he's like into vintage weights and grip and stuff. I believe.
Dope. That'll be a good episode. I just don't know who people is, and that's very very common Instagram knowledge.
He's one of those like where his Instagram handle is it's like a concoction of his name, but it's not like super easy to like as you thought So it took me a minute to find him because like I knew who he was. I just like I couldn't like for a refresher. I was like, what the fuck? Why can't I find him on fucking Instagram? Apparently, because I kept on typing Evan.
Evan's Evanish.
All right.
Let's get our guest on the horn. You go ahead.
Darko, is that you, buddy?
Oh,
is that you? Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, buddy. We're glad to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Do you want to go ahead and let the listeners know where they can find you at and who you are?
Yeah. They can find me on Instagram under Darko Lifts. I happen to also sell gym accessories for home gyms at Darko Lifting. But yeah, mainly Darko Lifts. Yeah, I don't really post a lot of the work stuff on there. It's mostly dumb stuff.
Dope. Good. All right. Well, I know you were newer to the crew, so I want to hear your Massonomics origin story. When you first heard about them, when you joined crew, how your backlog deep dives going, any of that. Just all Massonomics, all crew related. Just get us up to date on you.
So the first time I ever heard of Massonomics was probably back in 2021. Just got me the powerlifting shirt. And
the 8-bit strong one, right?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one. Like the
like the Nintendo looking.
Yeah.
Shirt.
They call it 8-bit. Yeah, it feels like the 80s like Nintendo shit. Yep.
So he got me one of those, and then I never really paid attention after that. And I just thought they were a shirt, like an apparel company. Honestly, up until pretty recently. And then I saw them at Home Gym Con, and they came by. I had my own booth there. They came by, and then I was like, oh, I think there's like more to this whole just shirt thing. And when I got back from Home Gym Con, I started, I think everyone did the same thing. You start looking on YouTube for videos about Home Gym Con.
Yep.
And I saw their channel. I was like, oh, okay. So like they're not just apparel, they do podcasts. And I'm always looking for stuff to watch when I'm working, because I'm just packing and assembling stuff all day long. So I just started watching, basically all their podcasts would come up. And then I was like, man, they got then I started like going on the website more. I'm like, man, they got a lot of cool shirts and like banners and stuff like that. So then I started ordering shirts and banners and the drink spotter. And then, yeah, just the more I kept listening, I'm like, I can't afford not to join as a member. And so, no, I mean, yeah, I started a couple years ago, but I just didn't really understand there was a whole lot more to it. So I'm glad I met them at Home Gym Con, and now they're kind of a staple in my weekly viewing.
That's awesome. Have you have you cherry picked any of the backlog or anything or are you just pretty much up to date as of like 6 months ago?
I mean, now, I got, and I mean, I don't know, I think I have like 5 shirts now.
Oh, nice.
And then, yeah, some of the older podcasts, I try to go back on some of the older podcasts if it's people, like the Basement Brandon, he did a video.
Yeah, he's in a few episodes. Yep.
So I've tried to go back for some of the people that I'm, more aware of or that I've, been in contact with myself.
Yep,
So
that's the way to
I'm
do
trying
it.
to go back through, but it's just, there's so much stuff that distracts me on YouTube. I'm second because like one of their videos will end and then something else will pop up about, you know, just random stuff. I've been very much into this deep rabbit hole of old wrestling stuff.
Oh, nice.
I can't help myself. I watch that stuff. I'll watch these behind the scenes videos for hours. But so no, I try to keep going back through some of the older videos. And I just watched the one with, I watched the ACL one, and then I watched the one with Amber. That was a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
So yeah, no, I'm kind of making my way through some of the older ones.
Perfect. And then do you actually, so you did pull the trigger and join crew though, right? You are you are officially a supporting member, and sometimes in the last few months or so.
Yeah, maybe like 3 or 4 months ago, I think.
Nice. That's so you were able to take part of it. So you did get you got your first crew gift then this because this is like the 4th or 5th one. I think it's the 4th one we've got, I believe. But so you've been able to take part of your supporting membership number card.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I'm number 443. So
hey.
Oh yeah, I joined I guess August. Yeah, I joined in August.
You so that's actually good because that I would say that's probably you are quite possibly the highest number supporting member, and as what the young kids would say, you are the zooted number member. I think I used that right too, ish. Not in the right context, but the word was kind of.
We'll never know. That's the best part.
Good stuff.
All right. So, how are you on your Hall of Fame status?
So that I don't, I was looking that up on the website, and is it like there is a checklist somewhere?
Yeah,
I don't have one, and I don't know where to find that.
I have a spreadsheet. I'll just text you a screenshot of or something. So
okay,
I mean, everyone has their card. I fucking lost my card. I have no clue where it is, but
mine's in the glove compartment. I know exactly where that card is. It's surrounded by lasers and sharks with lasers on their head.
Sharks with
I guess that's incoming. So while he's sending you that, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. If you do, that's also dope. Where are you from?
I'm from Orange County, California. So just kind of a few miles south of Strength Co.
Oh, okay. California crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's oh geez. One of the Davids is out in California. Aaron's out there. And that's all I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
Garrett's,
I put some
Garrison's
feelers
there.
out to find, Southern California people. It didn't seem there was like a ton of us.
No, there's only
Well,
3 that I know of in southwestern Ontario. So
as Mofo likes to tell me, California is so big and New York is so small. Motherfucker.
meanwhile, I'm up here in Canada, just like, huh?
Yeah, I don't know. You're in a the fuck do you guys call them up there? They're not provinces.
Yes,
Provinces. But
provinces.
you have do you have counties as well?
No,
Like
yeah,
okay.
actually, we do.
Okay. So then you have like county, towns, and then like your what we would be a state, you would just have like 5 provinces versus our 50 states or 7 provinces. I can't say that word
Nine
right.
provinces and
Province.
2 territories.
You lost me there. There's a lot of Joey's obviously Canadian, and I'm there's a lot of Canadian and American kind of back and forth sometimes because I'm like what,
But
and
don't you guys also have territories? Like Puerto Rico is an American territory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have 2
Well,
of those.
I just didn't. I thought
3? I think I might have 3 of those. I've got Nunavut. Yeah, the Yukon.
so like clustered of islands basically that aren't necessarily attached.
No, it's just literally the top of the country that is like almost uninhabitable. Those are just territories, and like select people live up there, the strongest and biggest of us. There's actually a crew from up there.
Nah, we should that week of Thanksgiving it might be easier to get a Canadian crew on because he won't be as focused on family stuff. So
actually a good call.
You might have to do your magic and figure out because I can't name too many more that we haven't already had on.
All right, did you get that Hall of Fame thing there?
Oh, I did send it on Instagram, but I don't want to distract you too much. We can but we might be good content to go through it and see what you got.
I'll tell you, this is actually really fun for me because it's like his first introduction to the Hall of Fame, and we talk about it so much.
Yeah.
Like this is really cool. Like this is an
It's true. This will be a completely virgin experience for him to read that list.
Kind of weird
be
phrase.
Like, I say it a lot, and people look at it like because like I use it in reference to like not approaching this apartment yet or this building, and I don't know it's just a word. I don't know why I say it. I don't know a non-entered. I mean, it's the same thing.
What, dude?
Well, because I didn't enter the building. Like I don't like I haven't approached it yet. Like so it's virgin. I don't fucking know. I probably should erase it from my vocabulary.
Yeah. That sounds like HR might get a hold of that one at some point, buddy. Well, it's because I haven't been in it yet, so it's.
Well, I wouldn't explain it like that. Well, no, there's like, isn't there? Like, there's people say like virgin crumb rubber or virgin rubber or something like that's an actual term in like equipment, isn't it? Or am I misremembering?
I don't.
No, I think that sounds right.
Yeah, no. So to me, it's like I'm using that as a point of reference.
So looking at this, I think I have 3. So I got a drink spotter.
Yep.
I'm now appearing on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast.
There you go.
And I'm pretty sure I posted a picture with me and Carp on Instagram.
Yep, there you go.
From
you haven't been to the Arnold yet?
No, because like if anything, I'd want to have a booth there, but that's for like my size company. That's just not gonna
20
happen.
grand or something. I know.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen for quite a while.
No, as a lifter in general, though, the Arnold is like, I call it big dumb guy mecca because it's just like the absolute biggest, strongest, most much like it's such a wild. And then because it's Ohio, right? There's just no laws. Like you step into the Arnold and there's just like people in bathtubs, like topless people, some woman with beach balls for breasts. Huck Finn is like overhead pressing dudes. And like you're just like, if for me, like that's my energy is just that silly chaos. But I only get to do that once a year, and that's at the Arnold. Otherwise, I'm just generally very reserved and kind of held back. And then I get to the Arnold, and I'm just like pounding beers with Huck Finn and screaming at people like it's definitely worth the trip. I feel like I have to go this year because I was kind of on the fence about it. But now I want my jacket.
On the table?
Yeah.
Was that a virgin table?
Not after I was done. And then yeah, I got to go to get my jacket. Just got to see if I can bother Tanner for a media pass again.
I always tell people the Arnold is definitely worth going once, like 100%. But obviously, going from California, it's
My
going to
third
cost you like
time.
fucking $2,000 to probably get out there and back. I'd imagine. So maybe maybe wait
It'll be a
until you.
business expense at least.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Just give out enough business cards to make it worth it.
yeah, pretty much.
But so I think we're gonna get a. Oh no, let's see. Yeah, let's do the least fun, most fun. So
Let's
not
do
sure
it.
if we get a relatively new game we came up with here, where I'm gonna give you a topic and you just tell me your least fun thing about it, your most fun thing about it. Feel free to talk for 30 seconds or 5 minutes. Doesn't matter to us. You have your druthers. So, Darko, least fun, most fun, home gym con.
I mean, most fun is just, meeting all the people that I've been talking to online for, a couple of years. Hanging out at the bar, having some drinks. They're definitely the most fun. Least fun, getting there.
Yeah.
Definitely getting there. Especially from California was, I think
Didn't you
we
miss
took
your
a
flight and have a red eye? I remember you were. I remember I
no, we
talked
took
to
a yeah,
you.
we took a red
I
eye.
talked
We
to you
took
and
a
you were
red eye.
hurting. You were
Yeah,
definitely sleep deprived when I saw you.
yeah. By the time we got there, I think I'd been up for like 24 hours,
Ooh.
and then went down to my booth, and a bunch of my stuff was missing. So then I had to go. I'm like, fuck, I can't go take a nap until I got to go find all of my shit. So then I was just basically walking around everyone's booth trying to see like if anyone had my boxes or my rack. Because yeah, I mean I can't
Yeah, because you got
can't
a
demo.
rack. So for anyone, that we wouldn't, anyone that was stupid enough not to go to Home Gym Con and check out his booth in person, you didn't you order a Rep Fitness rack to your booth basically that
Yeah,
just rather than trying to like ship something from California to spend $1,000 to buy a brand new rack or whatever versus trying to spend the same or more to take
yeah.
your own. So it definitely was a smart
Oh, it would have
move.
cost me more to ship take my rack apart, ship it out there, and then ship it back than to just buy a rack from Rep Fitness, have them ship it, and then I just sold it to actually sold it to Jake's sister.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, I took a very large hit on it, but
Oh
that was
yeah,
still way cheaper than shipping out my own rack. So well worth it.
make a little bit of your money back, not too much,
Yeah.
but it's better than nothing.
But yeah, no, getting there was, I mean, I thought it was a really, like, I haven't gone. I'll say it was really cool. Man, I'm sure am happy it's not there again.
And were you a later committed person to go? I can't remember like how were you like kind of right at the end and you're like, all right, yeah, I'll jump in and do it, or was it kind of like several months out you were like, yes, we're doing it, and you had all of this time to prepare?
No, I actually signed up pretty early for year
Okay.
two. I was still, being a new business was still a little concerned about the total cost of getting
Oh, for
out
sure.
there and, buying the rack. And so I honestly, I didn't book my hotel until about 5 weeks out,
Nice.
and my flight's probably about 3 weeks out.
So,
Uh,
yeah, I guess that's more what I meant because I think everyone can like sign up as a company, and then it's just until you actually like pay for your travel expenses, you're really not committed. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
you can take the hit from your just basically just look at it as a donation to Jake, but versus the extra several $1,000s to get out there.
Yeah, no, it ended up being a little bit more than I would have liked, but definitely made it back on
Well,
afterwards.
you had to have networked with fucking so many people, I can imagine. Like, I mean, I obviously you met hundreds of just
Yep.
friends, but then I'm sure you took it to the next level and like you met other business owners and people at Rep, Rogue, Titan, etc., trying to get because I know you got the deal with some of your products are actually on, or at least one of your products is on Rogue's website now, right?
Yeah, correct. So
Was that
that I was actually talking to Roget
okay? That
actually
was already
before Home Gym
before.
Con.
Okay, okay. That's what I thought,
Um,
but I either.
they were actually one of the main reasons I did sign up because I'm like, oh, okay, if I can like get in touch with Rogue while I'm there, like maybe I can make something happen. And then like 4 weeks before that, they reached out to me about reselling some products, and I was like, oh, well, fuck, maybe I
Well,
really don't need to go to Home Gym Con.
but look at it, maybe they only really got on your radar because you were on the same roster of Home Gym Con, and they were like, "Who can we network prior to possibly?" So I think either way,
Yeah, yeah, no, it was
that's
awesome. I mean,
that's
me
pretty
and
cool.
just yeah, Pete Keller, a lot of the guys from
Pete's
Titan,
great. I
Adam
love it.
from Rep,
Yeah, all good dudes.
Dean. I mean, yeah, so many guys there that it was definitely cool to talk to a bunch of these guys.
I like talking to everyone from ATX just because their accents and shit.
Yeah.
It was like a completely different world. I was like, wait, what? I just like, oh, okay.
Anytime Keith isn't confronted with the fact that the rest of the world exists is a really fun experience for him.
Yeah, I do live in a. I mean, I live in a big bubble. It's called New York State. You know, they're mofo, but it's still a bubble.
Jab, jab, jab.
It's all about it.
So you've been around for about, I think you said 6 months. Is there a piece of Massonomics attire that you look at other people wearing and think, damn, I wish I had that one?
There was one I just saw. I don't remember which one it was though. There was one. I'll have to look
We'll
back. It
circle
was
back to
on.
it if it comes
Yeah.
back to you. No worries.
But no, me, like my favorite shirt of theirs is like the lift hard, live easy with a skull.
Nice.
Mhm.
Like to me that like I bought a second one like a month after I bought the first one.
Nah,
I
it's
was like
awesome.
I want to have one for a long time, so I'll
Yep.
wear that one.
Yep.
But so whenever this one wears out in 5 years,
we ask that question
yeah.
we ask that question on every episode in hopes that Tanner's listening and enough people say one thing that he brings it back. Unfortunately, the one that everybody says is the one that he can't bring back. And that's the Yeah Buddy Light one. That's the one that I think has been the most common answer.
Yeah, it's up there for sure.
And the Raw Power. But of course, when the Raw Power one
yes,
was out,
very
people
popular. No one bought it. Yeah,
nobody bought it, and everybody was like,
it
damn, I should have bought that.
It was
one.
like the all go no show shirt. Like it's just kind of like it's great in theory, but then like the sales it took them forever to get them. But it's good
Now
stuff.
the one thing I was waiting for was the Crispy Boys banner.
Oh, nice. Did you get?
Because I had seen a bunch of people with that, and I was like, oh, I love lifting, I love beer. And you get one of those. So when they dropped that one a couple months back, I
Which
think
one
within
did
the
you?
first.
Which one did you get? Because they did like a re-release of the OG one with I think the band shirt that was like I think it was a Discord only, and then there was a one more recently that was like the one they're allowed to sell.
Yeah, I think it was the more recent one.
Okay, it's still a good one for sure. It's just
yeah. I'm just like I just got to have that banner. I ordered that within the first 5 minutes of that dropping, so I was
nice. I love it. I'd love a good banner.
All right. Well, let's get into some crew questions if that's all right. So Carp wants to know, what's the weirdest or strangest rack badge that you've been asked to create?
Ooh, strangest one. Man, I gotta think. I've probably done 40 or 50 custom ones now.
Nice.
Nothing. Man, that's a hard question. There's nothing really super.
The Hawk
Most people
2,
do.
isn't
I mean,
on that
one
list?
wasn't requested. That was one I did.
Oh, okay. Well,
I put that one up there for fun.
nice. Well, we'll just say
but that one proved to be really popular. I think I sold like 25 or 30 of those things.
Oh,
wow. Which kind of was shocking to me.
That is, yeah. I'd be like, I'm gonna make this file, and just it'll be funny, and it'll get some Instagram likes, and then you get like order.
Oh, yeah.
That would be, I could see the shock in that one because like, who the fuck would, like, I don't know, like, are you gonna display that on your gym in like 2 years when like everyone forgets who she is? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, like, some people are like, "Oh, yeah, like my wife doesn't know what it is, so it's funny." I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, funny till you have to explain it.
And then you're fucking when your kids ask you what it is, like then it's like, oh yeah.
You just say it's your favorite podcast host.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the weirdest one I've made, but that was not a request from anybody. Most people just do their, a lot of people have logos for their gyms now, or sports teams, or just things like that, or Bible verses, stuff like that. So most of it's pretty mellow.
So you haven't done a no wine cellar one?
I haven't yet. Actually, would be a cool one. It's like the NWO logo.
Yeah, it'd have to almost be vertical though, right? Because like you only have so much, like with 3 inches left to right. I would almost want it to like, but then it would look goofy vertical because it wouldn't be as legible. So I don't know.
So I've done some where like so it doesn't fully align with just like the upright, or a cross member, where it'll actually kind of expand out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The edges a little bit.
Yeah.
So it just depends on the design, really.
Oh, I could see a better one, like because I think you make them, you could go horizontal as well, not just vertical, right? So that would be, I might actually do that for like my back the back vertical cross. Yeah, now you got me thinking, Joey.
Yeah, I don't have a thing over my rack. I have a half rack, so I don't really have room for that, but the Dilf Dungeon is the name of my gym.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, it's where we
So
build,
yeah,
we build trophy.
we do rack badge for you. That might be the weirdest one I've done so far.
My wife made like 3 designs, and this was the one that kind of won for the sticker. It looks like the Dungeons and Dragons logo. She did a Barbie one that actually turned out to be incredibly popular. So I figured if I ever do that, I'll do a glittery sticker for that one.
Oh, now talking about all right, Dilf Thunder. I actually do know the rack badge. That is the weirdest one. It was for a guy's gym that's called Butthole Barbell.
Yeah.
I had to find that guy.
That's good stuff. I dig
and so he asked for like kind of a logo, and I kind of just threw something in Chat GPT. So I'm like draw me an image of like a spoked wheel. And that was the logo he went with for his rack badge. It was a spoked wheel butthole barbell.
it.
That was kind of a weird one.
Well, we have a few other questions that are about your business, but I think rather than us just asking, like, they're not bad questions by any means, they're actually good questions, but I want to hear your whole the Darko lifting, business story, and in like 5-10 minutes, if you want to just tell us that whole origin story, because we might answer half those questions just in that rather than us asking you random questions, if that works.
Yeah, for sure. So like a lot of people, I kind of really went heavy on my home gym during COVID. And for a while I was just doing these silly Instagram reels, about being, a home gym owner, and kind of built my following up that way. And I've always just kind of been a creative person. So eventually, you start finding things in your gym that you either want, or someone makes a version of it, but it's not quite there, the way you want it. So the very first thing I posted on Instagram that was like, as far as like a gym product, was it was like a little change plate uh, adapter thing, I guess, for pulley systems with loading pins, right? Because if you're using a loading pin and you need to change your weight out, it kind of sucks because you got to unhook your carabiner. You're taking plates on or off, and that just was, it's just kind of a pain. So I made this little change plate adapter that would sit on top of the plates on a loading pin, and it had 2 extra weight horns on it. So then you could put extra 10s and 5s. That way you can do drop sets, or if you're working out with someone that's, a little bit heavier or a little bit stronger, a little bit weaker, you can quickly do 50, 60 pound weight changes without actually having to unhook your carabiner on your pulley system. So that actually gained, pretty decent amount of traction at the beginning. And I think like Jason at Surplus, he kind of reached out about possibly making a version of it. And Travis from Grip Genie, like Jujimufu, they were interested in making a version of it also. Eventually, it was just kind of like the cost was going to be too high for what the product was.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like my first foray into making a gym product. And, that was just something out of necessity. Changing the loading pin just was a pain, was a major pain in the ass for me. I didn't want to do that anymore. And so the next main pain in the ass that I found in my gym was, my Mars bar. It's a 65-pound bar. I had a 4-post power rack with safety straps. So then I had also monos in there and J cups. So then you're maneuvering the 65-pound bar in and out of your rack every, 3 times a week or whatever. Sucked. It was like such a painful experience. So then I was just like, man, I wish someone made like a thing where you can like hang bars up at the top of your rack, just because your J cups can get high, but like if you have a nameplate or anything like that, you can't get your J cups too high. So I was like, man, I just really wish someone would make something like that. And eventually I was just like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna make it. Like I want one, I'm gonna make it. And I shared it on like the normal like kind of home gym Discord, and a couple people were interested. And so then I kind of really went and got like a nice version made with powder coat with UHMW lining. And I posted that on Instagram. That kind of went bananas for a bit. And I still only thought I was going to maybe sell 50 of, my anchor. And for anyone listening, if they don't know what that is, it's basically like a mount that you attach to the top of your power rack so you can store barbells up and out of the way. And so the first month I was selling them, I think I sold like maybe 20 in the first 30 days. And yeah, I kind of was like really only thinking I was going to maybe sell 50, maybe 100 tops. And I got really lucky. Basement Brandon was my third customer. Like
Oh,
he
nice.
wanted one. The second he saw it, he wanted one.
He supports so many like just homies in the there's yeah, he's a good dude. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So he did a video, and then that was crazy. I was
Oh
not
yeah, I
prepared
bet you
for that at
Jesus.
all.
You had to have
Yeah.
gotten fucking let's see if
Oh,
you
I
were
think,
getting if you got 20 the like your first month or whatever, like you had to have gotten like his eyes had to have probably got you fucking like 10x or something or
yeah, I
something
think I sold like
crazy.
150 in like the next 4 days
That's
after
awesome.
he posted his video.
That's
And
great.
I was not prepared for that
Oh
at
yeah.
all.
You're like you did you just send a lot of emails saying the stars be ready in 6 weeks?
So luckily when I initially posted it online, it was always gonna be a 2 to 4 week lead time, just
Okay.
so like I could always make sure I was gonna get them out in time. And by the time I was able to get more product in, everything's still made in America. I get all my steel cut in Reno. But it still takes a couple of weeks. It's nothing like overseas, thank God. But um, by the time I actually got product in, I was over 200 open orders, and I was losing sleep, and I was
Well, yeah, because
really
you
stressing.
don't wanna be this asshole that's taking people's money and not fulfilling orders and all that,
Yeah,
and been like, "This get fucking." You said 2 to 4 weeks. It's been fucking 4 weeks and 2 days. What the fuck? Charge back.
yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, most people were pretty cool. I had a couple of people that were total dickheads about it, but I was just
Yeah,
like, whatever.
that's in every circle.
Yeah, and so from there, the anchor, because of that review, it's kind of just always been consistent ever since then. Um, so like that's still my number one product I sell every single month. I think we're over. I think I've sold over 3,000 of them.
Damn.
Wow.
And what's the life? So this was like 20. You started in COVID, but like, was your first sale still in 2020 or was it 2021?
2022, end of
Okay.
2022 is when I first actually selling
So
product.
we're like for under. So you basically average. So you've done a 3,000 in 3 years, give or take, or a
Uh,
little no
like
less than
two
that.
years, 2 years. I
Yeah,
just
2 years.
crossed
Okay.
two
Okay, 2
years
years.
in
We're not big math over
September.
here. I can't fucking count to three.
Yeah.
uh,
Two.
So yeah, the anchor, that was my number one product, or my first product, and then I started just kind of figuring out other things I wanted in my gym that other people didn't make, or you could like kind of DIY stuff. So then I came out with the shorty bar after. The shorty bar is like a D handle bar, but it also combines a landmine feature. So instead of having to buy two or three different attachments, you bought one attachment. You can use any D handles you want. You can use it as a landmine. It has an acetal liner to protect people's barbells because that's always a very important thing in everyone's home gym nowadays.
It really is from a lot of
It
people.
is, yeah.
You can't like
Uh,
the time of just being like, who cares? I mean, there's still the assholes in the home gym group that like always mock people that are like pissed off when their brand new equipment comes all fucked up and they're just like, oh, you're gonna scratch it anyway. And I'm like, I mean, yes, but no. And also, like, if I just paid a premium, I want a mint condition product.
no, 100%. Like if there's going to be scratches, I want to be the one to make
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
absolutely. I have no problem if I break them, like, but
Yeah.
I don't want to have it come to me fucked up already.
So yeah, and I just kept making products that I personally wanted in my home gym that either didn't exist or just the versions of it that did exist didn't fit my needs because I mean for most people space is the ultimate factor in what you can put in your home gym. So like for me, I'm always trying to create things that will give you either more storage space or more utility, but in a small compact package. So yeah, so I mean now I think I have about 7 different products. Between all the new colors I have for liners and stuff like that, there's hundreds and hundreds of different variations of my products. Um, everything basically comes. I mean, I'm still doing everything out of my garage. So my garage is like 2.25 spaces wide. But, yeah, I probably should shrink my gym to have more workspace, but sure as fuck ain't going to do that anytime soon.
Yeah, no, gotta get a bigger
uh,
garage.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, hopefully next year, maybe move out of the garage and get a little warehouse, but I'm trying to avoid that as long as I can.
Yeah, unless I mean, I see, yeah, unless you're really, because then it's like, because then your next couple years is going to be almost like the same profit margin or less because you're going to be
Exactly.
fucking paying for your building. So as cool as it is to be like, hey, I've made this next step, it's like, but my net fucking gains are down.
No, exactly. Like if I'm gonna make if the profit's gonna be the same at the end of the day, I'd
Yeah,
rather still
yeah,
sell less
yeah,
and work out of my garage.
absolutely.
Um,
That makes sense to us.
so and it's been getting, and so everything's been picking up and yeah, Rogue. So Rogue sells the shorty bar and they sell the long E bar now. Long E bar is basically just a long version of the shorty bar that's available in stainless steel. And so yeah, I mean things have been going well. I've had a number of companies reach out about either licensing a few of the products.
That'd be cool.
But one of those things like I personally like my products made in America. Like that's to
Oh
me,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
an
I see
important
what you
thing
mean.
for me. I could make a lot more if I imported it, but I like the idea of made in America products.
That
So
makes
my
sense.
stuff will continue to be made in America. But it's cool, it's cool to always hear from other companies that are interested, especially companies that are much bigger than I am,
Hmm.
that are interested. So, I kind of know I'm on the right track with, a number of my products. Um, I mean
So,
that's
oh, go ahead.
oh no, so that's kind of the history, I mean that pretty high level, I guess.
No, it's
So
good.
what's next? That's all I was like.
Yep.
That is what several people asked. Do you have something in the works? Something you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean I'm always working on a few products. Some are on hold right now just because like I've been getting so many orders coming in ever since Home Gym Con. It's been crazy. Before Home Gym Con, I was probably averaging 135 orders a month, and now since then, it's probably been about 200 orders every single month since Home Gym
Nice.
Con.
That's a big tick.
Yeah, so so while I have spotter arms that I've been working on, I kind of showed those on my Instagram a while ago. Uh, they're not going to be as heavy duty as some of the spotter arms out there. Guys that are squatting 600-700 pounds, like probably not for them, but for the normal home gym user that isn't going to have a catastrophic failure where they're dumping 500 pounds off their back. They're going to be ultra lightweight spotters. I think when I weighed them, they're about 11 and a half pounds each.
Well, that is light.
And
I think my Rogue ones got away like fucking 30, or at least they're at least 25. I haven't known, like just
yeah,
they're every bit of
they're
25 for the Rogue Monster.
no, they're heavy as hell. Those are the ones I have. That's why I
Yeah,
started making my own. I'm like, dude, these things fucking suck to move
they do.
around.
I have to help people move them half the time. Like I see people struggle, and I'm like, no, I'll get it for you. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'll do it.
Well, the thing I also dislike about them is so they're like a 3x3 tubing, but when you add the
Oh yeah,
UHMW on the top, you got 3 1/4, so a lot of attachments won't work on it. So I
mm,
wanted to create spotters that would fit, basically be a true 3x3, as far as their dimensions. That way you can put attachments on them. So spotters are in the works. Prototype, I've had a few prototypes come in. I've done drop tests, up to 500 pounds. Um, the 500 pounds, they've suffered some damage on the spotter arms, but that's not altogether surprising.
yeah,
And then I was supposed to release, I got these little mini racks, these little 3D printed mini power
yep.
racks.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about those.
I was hoping to release those already, but like I've been so behind on orders and I'm like, I'm not going to release a new product if I'm like struggling to keep up with my normal orders.
Yeah, that makes
It put
sense.
me even further behind. And then you have this, I don't want like a lead time that's 2 months, 3 months for products. That's just not something I enjoy when I buy something. And that's just not the experience I want other people to have when they buy from me.
We saw what happens to
Uh,
companies that do that,
yeah,
as heard on the
yeah.
Massonomics podcast.
Oh yeah. Oh, that Kabuki thing's strange.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, so I got a few products out there. I'm hoping I have a concept in mind for some new type of monoliths that would function definitely differently than all the other monoliths out there. Which would hopefully solve the issue because most people don't want to squat out of normal monoliths. I mean, at least like home gym power rack monoliths, because the travel isn't far
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. You're fucking like 2 inches away from the upright, no matter what.
Yeah, so I have a concept where it'll probably, add another like 4 or 5 inches of travel.
That's fine.
Um,
It's all we need. 4 inches.
yeah. That's what she said.
Yes, sir. Someone picked.
Yeah. But so yeah, I mean, I have a few products. Now I'm trying not to show off even the spot arms. I really didn't want to show off. I kind of got forced to do that. So I'm trying not to, because now I'm starting to get a number of companies copying some of my products.
Yeah, we've seen
So
that.
yeah, so I'm trying not to show too much if I don't have to at this point in time.
Yeah, and I can't imagine you're in a position to do much. Just we all, the copy or not copy, patents are so fucking outrageously expensive that I can't imagine that you've been able to invest too much in patents. And especially with your larger lineup now.
No, I mean, exactly. That's where, yeah, I see it on Facebook and stuff like that, where, people will be, showing off one of the copycat companies. And, the response is always, well, if you didn't want them copying you, you should have gotten patent. One, I actually didn't think this was going to be a business. So I didn't think to get a patent because it's 10 grand, and then you got to pay to defend it. And that's for one product. So then you start having 6 or 7 products and you got to defend or pay 10,000 for every single every product. I mean, if I was out, if $70,000 just dropped out of my bank account tomorrow, well, I'm out of business.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's real easy, because when people are like, oh, well, that company has patents. It's like, yeah, that company, they make more in a week than I make all year. So I understand why they have patents. They can afford to have an attorney who only does patents on the payroll. I'm a one-man shop, working out of my garage. So it's unfortunate, it's the smaller companies, that are the ones that are copying me more than the bigger companies. Because I even had a call with one of the larger companies before, and we talked about it. They're like, no, we know we can't copy you because we would absolutely have to deal with a complete shitstorm on social media. Um, so that's kind of what I use as my protection at this point in time, is that I've sold enough of them. I think I'm relatively involved with the community, and so I kind of just protect myself that way.
Good stuff. We could probably talk about your business for another 2 hours, but we gotta try to get some funny stuff in here. So let's unless anything else you wanted to get out there about the business before we move on though.
No, not really. People. I mean, check it out. It's Darko Lifting. If you're looking for a bar sword or something, cool. But nah,
Cool.
We
the
did it.
business stuff's it's fun, but I'd rather talking about dumb stuff is much
Yeah,
more fun.
let's get into Darko himself. So, your name is David, and your last name is not Darko. So just tell the guy. Obviously it's obviously from Donnie Darko. But where did when did that name become a thing in your life?
Let's see here. It's 18, so 22 years ago, 2002. Uh, AOL screen names, right? So, for well, a lot of us older people, if you had AIM, the chat program, you had to have a screen name. Donnie Darko at the time was my favorite movie, so I'm like, I'll just, I'll be XX Davy Darko, and that stuck for a long time. And then my friends started calling me Darko in real life, and so that kind of just stuck for the last 22 years. But it is like my favorite story of this always is I was at a bar with all of our friends, and one of the girls was kind of newer, but like she'd been hanging out for like a year. But she had only ever heard people refer to me as Darko. So I was like, oh, she's like getting a drink. I'm like, oh, just put it on my tab. It's fine. And so she goes to put it on, get a drink. She comes back. She's like, they don't say they have Darko on a tab. I'm like, that's not my real name. She's like, what? I'm like, no, that's not my name.
That's pretty funny.
That is good.
So so that's where the name came from, and it's just kind of stuck, 22 years now. So we'll just keep going with it. Originally, the name of my company was going to be Black and White Lifting, but just because the Darko name was so synonymous with my Instagram account, which is what at the time was popular for just doing silly reels, not reels, I'm not reels.
No one will ream me out too hard for that.
Yeah.
Just the Davids
uh,
fuckers.
I know. like said when I
You
said
guys
that, I
are
was like, oh
Davids.
fuck.
We are Davids. I think I actually heard most of that story at home gym con. The only thing that was new was you pronounced aim like with the letters. I've never heard anyone say AIM and for aim. Like, am I weird? Like, I've only ever called it aim. AOL Instant Messenger. It's always been aim. We have to do a poll on that one. I've never like
AIM. Oh, because it
I've,
was right after there was another one called ICQ.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone
That's the
remembers.
one
Yeah.
I know of. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not
We
familiar
Yeah.
with
never
that one.
here in Canada. I don't think AIM was ever that
Yeah,
popular.
I only had
Yeah.
AOL Instant Messenger, AIM.
So
AIM.
like you went from ICQ to AIM. It just made sense to do like the
No,
letters,
I got you.
you know.
That does make sense. I in my 39 years I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it. So like I listened to your entire story, but like in the back of my like the the hamster in my head the whole time was like I have to ask about that. I have to ask about that. It's someone else listening is going to be like, "Wow, that was I agree." But all right. So we got you as Darko. Good deal, good deal. You've been lifting for a long time, it looks like. Have you ever done any competing? Is anything ever draw your attention enough to get on a platform or do any actual sanction competitions or anything fun like that?
I kind of had the itch a couple years ago to maybe try one, but I just never really got around to it. The closest thing I got to was like kind of a mock meet through like the home gym Discord.
Mm-hmm.
They used to kind of throw on their little meets.
The ice cream social or whatever I think it was.
Yeah. That was about the closest I've gotten. I'm hoping if I can get some solid training in. The problem is, I was training 5-6 days religiously for a couple years, and then I started my business, and that caused a big problem with my training,
I could
and
imagine.
still does. But I'm hoping, at some point, and one of the big problems for me with doing a competition like or an actual meet is my deadlift is shockingly low and embarrassing. Um, where I just wouldn't want to do that in front of anybody. uh, So I think like at the mock meet, like benching's always been my favorite. So I was able to hit like a 300
Nice.
bench, like a 390 squat, but then my deadlift's 390. It just that number is much, at least as far as the ratios of where my deadlift should be in comparison to the other ones, it should be a
That just
lot.
means you're a really good squatter. That's all.
I just think of
I
it
don't
as
know.
being a really bad deadlifter.
Yeah, no, I was trying to be nice, but yeah.
No, maybe at some point though. I'm gonna try and focus. And last couple weeks, I've been getting 5 days in, so I can
Yeah.
keep that up for a year or two.
Well, you do you, buddy. It's it'll always be an option, but I think they even said it on the podcast last week. Like, no one cares how strong you are. Just if it's something you want to do, do it. If it's not, then
Yeah.
don't. Like, I will always be a
Yeah.
proponent of someone getting on the platform at least once, because then like I don't know, until you've done it once, it's like I don't know. It's just fun. But a lot of it too is like I've done some good meets, I've done some bad meets, I've done meets that were ran well, I've done meets that have been shitty. I've been done meets with 20 friends of not counting Lift Really Easy, like just local meets with like had like 20 people that I knew, and then I've done ones where I was like the only person I knew in the building. So it's like it can be intimidating if you're not already in a crew of people or know a bunch of people in the area. So I can see why people are hesitant, I guess, but I'll always support people doing any kind of lifting. So whatever floats your boat there.
So
Yeah,
what?
it sounds fun. I mean, go ahead.
No, if you go ahead.
I mean, like when I did the mock meet, we had 20 of us, all from Discord. And my buddy, he has a full like combo, you know, ghost kabuki rack, combo rack or so. I mean, it was set up like a meet, but yeah, once I started my company, then it's just my training got so erratic that it just I wish it didn't because my list would be a lot more impressive at this point in time.
Do you I always ask my wife to do it because she has her own business too, but like it's her secondary job, and I always ask her to kind of like, do you like track your hours? Because like she doesn't track her hours to kind of like equate like how much she's actually kind of worked, and to on average, you know how much you work a week? Like, are you working 7 days a week? Or are you like putting in 100 hours a week? Are you putting in 60 hours a week? Like, how much time is David working at Darko?
Oh, yeah, it's probably about 60 hours right now. But because I mean, it's like I work during the day when my kids are at school, and then I take a break for a couple hours when they come home, and take them to their activities. When they go to bed, I'll go back out. It just depends on what the workload's like. Um, so some nights I'll just work till 9 or 10, but if it gets crazy, yeah, I'll be out there till 2 in the morning, some days working, which that is a big factor. And I like to work out in the mornings before my kids wake up. So it's like if I go to bed at 2:30 in the morning, the chance of
That
me
ain't
waking up at
happening. Yeah,
5 to work out is zero.
I feel that.
Um, so yeah, it just depends. But yeah, it averages probably about 60 hours a week.
So, what is the ideal inseam for shorts?
7 inches. 7 inches
Yeah.
is my go-to.
It says here that you like obscenely short shorts. 7 inches
I,
doesn't sound that obscene.
No, unless you're fucking 9 foot tall.
no, 7 inches come up. I live in sunny California, so skies out, thighs out. The 5 inches are a little. I think it would make my wife uncomfortable. Uh, the first I think the first 2 months we were dating, we went to Wild Rivers. It's a water park out here in Southern California, and just to mess with her, I was wearing like the Euro shorts,
Yeah.
bathing suits, and after about an hour, she's like, "We have to go. This is so uncomfortable right now. Like
That's great.
there's children everywhere, and like everything about your shorts shows everything." I'm like, they're like, "Tell them not to look. Tell them not to look." And so no, I do like it's about a seven. Like if companies made a 6 inch inseam, I think that'd actually probably be perfect. But it's either 5, 7, or 9. So I usually tend to go with the 7.
Yeah, let's see.
I'm a good 5 inch inseam.
Yeah,
Like, I think that's what the new Massonomics ones are. I think they're about 5.5, 6.
I was curious about the. I like everything relatively form fitting.
Yeah, it's like wearing two fucking mini skirts if you have small legs though. They
Yeah.
really like they're very bulky like left and right like per leg. So like I don't have small legs and I look down and I'm like, God damn, there's a lot of fabric there. My leg looks so small. But they are very comfortable. If I could change one thing about them, I would take like 2 or 3 inches off the diameter of the leg opening personally. But I still love my squat shorts.
Same. Also the silkies. Bring back silkies. Or we'll do a run of silkies.
Oh, there we go. We gotta run out of our shirts first. People go ahead and head on over to Massonomics and pick yourself up a unpaid and underrated T-shirt. I see about a third to half of our guests, our former guests, have not bought one yet. So we would love to see you in those.
Okay.
I'll have to pick one up soon.
That's the
Yes.
spirit. Then you get your Keith's head sticker.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. That's one of many in the house. I've got one. Did I mention this last time? I brought my laptop to a work event
Oh
and I
yeah,
have
you
a
did.
Keith's
Yeah,
head sticker here. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Joey, is that you? I was like, it doesn't look like me. And then look closer. Why do you have that? And I was like, oh, I have to explain this to a room of my professional colleagues. Okay.
So with Halloween just wrapping up there last week, Darko, did your streak of dressing as a sexy woman continue, or was that something from days past?
You know, so I mean, normally, if time allows, I try to get creative with my Halloween costumes. But over the last couple years, it's been tough. Especially now, I have 2 kids, so you're trying to figure out their stuff, and then between work and then we always do a yearly camping trip right around Halloween. So unfortunately, nothing this year. One is a 40-year-old tired, overworked man. Uh, nothing too exciting this year for Halloween, but one day I'll get back to it.
Okay. Do you want to hit him with a
I got one more main story I want to
yeah,
hear before we
please
do
go.
games because okay, so it looks like you're the youngest boy of six. You were a pretty big young man when you were born. What was your mother's reaction when she saw you for the first time?
Yeah, my mom, my mom is I'm 6 feet and 200 pounds now. When I was born, I was 10 pounds, 6 ounces. And my mom is about 5'2" and normally weighs about 100 pounds. And yeah, she was horrified. And like, she tells a story like it's a very funny story. And I'm like, that's a really mean story.
Well, it's
She's
funny
like, I
because
just did.
because I got the story from your perspective and what I think is your brother's or your sister's possibly. So it's just really funny how the one that you submitted was a little more passive than the one. I'm just gonna read what I want to. I'm assuming it's one of your brothers, I believe. So when he was born, they brought him all swaddled up to our mother. She started crying and saying, "That's not my baby," because he was so red, round, and ugly. That's so fucked up, but that was what one of your siblings told us, so that's where I was going with.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how my mom tells the story too. So I'll take their word for it. My mom tells a story though. I'm like, that's a fucked up story. They're like, that's not a nice story at all to tell people. I mean, when I see my baby pictures, I'm like, I get it, but it's still not nice. It still hurts 40 years later.
Is Keith's camera frozen for you as well?
It is, but my audio's still coming through.
Yeah, your audio's fine, but you are caught in your vinegar strokes on that picture. I'm gonna go ahead and get
Yep.
All right. So was that the last one you wanted to do, or do you want to move into
No, that was good. Yeah,
games?
if you want to hit him with a Rushmore, then I'll come with FMK. Hopefully my camera will get sorted out.
Yeah, and I hope this doesn't fall flat because I kind of added it while we were chatting. But that can happen. Brother, we are not professionals. All right. So do you know what Mount Rushmore is?
Like the actual Mount Rushmore?
No. Well, yeah, kind of. Because this game is pretty much like I'm going to ask you a thing, and if you were to build a Mount Rushmore of these things, what's the 4 that you would put up? Yeah, they play it on the sister podcast. I believe it started on this podcast, and it turned out to just be a really fun game for everybody. So, the Mount Rushmore of old school wrestlers.
Old school wrestlers.
You can go as old school if you want. Yeah, no, you just said you were watching old school wrestling YouTube. They always whine I talk about wrestling too much, so I thought I would throw that in.
Let's see, number 1, for me as a kid was Ultimate Warrior.
Yep.
2, Bret Hart.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, I put Bret Hart first. We'll go Bret Hart, then Ultimate Warrior. Thinking old school here. Doink the Clown.
Ooh, okay. I have follow-ups on that one.
And the Undertaker.
Good. Which iteration of Doink the Clown? The original scary one or the second silly one?
It was probably the second silly one. The second silly one, they also rolled out the smaller Doink.
Yeah, Dink.
SummerSlam, right, with them too?
Yeah, Dink the Clown.
Yeah, we'll probably go with that one.
All right. I like the scary one. He was weird. Came out all he'd come out smoking a cigarette and yelling at kids. Right? He would just stalk in the crowd and do the lamest tricks. Because that dude was actually scary in real life. What about new wrestlers? How caught up are you on it?
So I'm not really super caught up. When I start watching the YouTube wrestling, it's usually a lot of the behind the scenes stuff from the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, the Attitude Era.
Yeah. So I mean, going from the Attitude Era on, Stone Cold number 1, Rock number 2, Jericho number 3. Trying to think here. Those are probably my top 3 of the new, the mid 2000s era. Mankind. Yeah, I'd probably throw Mankind in there.
Yeah, Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Friend of the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that was a good answer. Yeah, they always, I don't know how many episodes you've listened to, but they always give me shit for bringing up wrestling on every episode. But it's just because I know it's that's my nerd thing. I know so much and love it so much. Despite I don't watch it at all anymore. I do what you do. I pretty much watch the YouTube highlights.
Yeah.
Botchamania. Did you ever watch ECW back in the early 2000s?
I did a little bit when they had Sandman and Rob Van Dam and Blue Meanie. A little bit, but not nearly as invested in that as I was.
I always say one of my favorites of all time is Taz, and it just confuses people. Really? And I'm you don't remember him at his height? That dude could have done no wrong when he was back when he was the ECW champion.
Like, he reminded me of like a smaller Vader.
Yes. No, that's a good call. That's a good comparison. All right. Asks to start video. I don't know what you're asking me for here. Trond is here. Keith is asking me to give him video permissions. Dude, I don't know what that.
I shut my video off and now it won't come back on.
Okay.
I was trying to unfreeze it, but it's just not working.
I hit ask to start video, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, we don't need you on video. You're ugly. All right. No, Trond is here, though.
As long as my audio is still coming in, we're good. All right, so we're gonna do a little FMK for you, Darko. So we got three characters here specifically chosen for you. So I'm gonna hit you with them, and you gotta, use your druthers and fuck, marry, and kill them. So
yep.
Raiders, our lifetime players. So Tim Brown, Charles Woodson, Rich Gannon, FMK.
Ooh.
I hope this would be a difficult one. I had to pick the three, like, because I went and did like top 10 lists, and I was like, well, these aren't as relevant to like these weren't. I knew you were about my age. Like, these weren't guys playing in our lifetime, whereas these guys were like, you probably watched these guys playing for at least 10 years of your life. So, and some of their best seasons. So these were the players.
Those were the last good seasons.
Yes, sir.
20 years ago.
Tim Brown, Charles Woodson, Rich Gannon.
I think you got to marry Charles Woodson just because he also owns wine companies now. And you got to marry Tim Brown because he's one of the greatest of all time. And then you got to kill Rich Gannon just because he's kind of a dick sometimes about the Raiders when he's doing commentary. But I do love all three of those guys.
And he probably is he was the quarterback of their like best seasons in the last 25 years, but was he really that good? I mean, he was a Pro Bowl player for a few years, but he's definitely not a Hall of Fame player. Did he play his whole career in Oakland mostly? I can't really remember, because he was kind of old when I was a kid too, I think, if I remember.
I mean, a lot of people thought he was kind of on the downside, I think, when he signed with the Raiders, and then he kind of had this resurgence, and he had an MVP one of those years, and it led him to the Super Bowl, but that obviously didn't go well.
It's close. It was a good game.
Yeah, it was good for the Buccaneers.
Well, they let Gruden go, and he whooped them, and then that was what, like 2004, 2005, something like that.
2002.
Okay, even later, yeah. So good deal. Well, that was FMK. He hit you with a Rushmore. I think I did see something. I actually had to look it up. I don't know if you put it in there or somebody else put it in there, but where you had mentioned that you like bench, and you had where the hell was it? You have do you have a I'm not going to call it a disability, is not the right term, but you have something on your chest where it's like a concave little thing. What's the terminology for that? I'm butchering it. I'm sounding like an asshole. I Googled it earlier and I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, I know what that is now. I've seen that on like other people, but someone had mentioned that in the notes.
So it's called pectus excavatum, and so it's where your chest, normally your chest kind of goes straight across, where mine sinks in like a big, hole basically in the middle of my chest. And when I was a kid, didn't even notice it, didn't even think about it, never even noticed it until I was in high school. And then you're getting ready for PE, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, everyone's chest looks way different than mine. And that's when I started probably lifting, is in high school. And but the only way to get my chest to kind of look normal is to bench a lot. So that's why my bench has always been my favorite lift.
Gotcha.
Because like my whole chest sinks in, and then part of pectus excavatum a lot of times is your rib cage is kind of deformed a little bit. So like my rib cage flares out at the bottom also. So you have to have, like, you basically got to work your chest a lot in order to even have your shirt, basically, if you're looking at it from the side, go straight down. Otherwise it kind of goes down and then shoots out and kind of gives you this pot belly look, whether or not you have one, just because of the shape of the rib cage. And the only way to counteract that, really, I mean, people go get surgery and all sorts of crazy stuff, and I'm not, especially now I'm 40, I'm definitely not doing that now. And then now I honestly probably don't care. I don't really care about it as much. really. But for, a number of years, it was kind of one of those things that I wasn't really, thrilled about, just because it like was obviously much different looking than most people. Um, but so yeah, I've always kind of been a bench person, and that's kind of where it started from. Is just trying to get my chest to look relatively normal. And now I just love bench anyway. It's just, I mean, I know it's not a very useful lift in real life, but it's 100% my favorite lift.
It's called Pexis
Excavatum.
excavatum.
Yeah, I had to.
Speaking of that,
Excavatum, yeah.
speaking of Pexis excavatum, what's your favorite Harry Potter movie?
Prisoner of Azkaban. Prisoner of Azkaban.
Sorry, I had to. It does sound a little bit like a Harry Potter.
It does a little bit.
Spell, doesn't it? Not to make light of your situation, but I'm gonna make light of all situations.
I mean, now I don't give a crap. I don't give a crap about all that.
I love how you just answered immediately and didn't clue into what I was doing. That was good too.
Yeah,
that was well played.
The only thing he's sensitive about is his mother not thinking he was a pretty boy.
Yeah,
but when Oren was born, and they handed him to Morgan, the first thing she said was, "That's my baby. I don't know how to take care of you." And I was just like, dude.
That's a very true thing, though. Like, you're at the hospital with your baby, and like the nurses are helping you do everything, and then all of a sudden they're like, "All right, get out." And you're like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Don't kill it.
Yeah, just don't. They tell you, they make you watch a video. I don't know if they do that everywhere, but in where I live in the hospital, they make you watch a video, like 20 ways to like you're gonna kill your baby. You're gonna kill your baby this way. Like, they don't tell you how to not kill your baby, and then they just send you home. Like, fuck, figure it out. All right, okay. We will do our best. We will do our best.
And that's the best we can do, I think. All right. Want to get into some unpaid and underrated?
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Darko, we got this game we like to play for any of our new listeners here. It's a relatively new game we came up with all by ourselves. Similar to what some other people call overrated or underrated, we have this game we call unpaid or underrated. So, underrated is still the same, but unpaid in this scenario would be kind of shitty. So, no one wants to be unpaid. As someone that works for himself, you wouldn't want to be unpaid. So, keep that in mind when we're doing unpaid or underrated. So, I'll hit you off here first. Unpaid or underrated Ford Mustangs.
All right, so I'm gonna go unpaid. So, I had we had the Ford Mustang in my garage,
and that
was the backdrop for my gym for a long time. And so, like, for a while, we had my father living with us, who was older, and so that was his Mustang. And I personally, I don't care much about cars. It's just not one of those things that I really think about very much. As long as it gets me from A to B and it doesn't break down, I don't really care. Like, it was a beautiful car, super nice. I hated driving that thing anytime I drove it. And in my mind the whole time was like, man, my gym could be so big if that thing wasn't in here.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'll go unpaid on that one.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, knowing I was in a group chat with a couple other guys, my home gym crew that we done the roundtables with, and I was like, all right, who's got some Darko unpaid or underrated? And I think Carp threw out the muscle cars in the garage or something because he knew that used to be in there. So we got to the bottom of that one. So
yeah,
all right, number 2 here for you, unpaid or underrated Al Davis.
Underrated, 100% underrated. I know he was a crazy person at the end, but he's one of the pioneers in professional sports. First to hire a African American head coach, first to hire a Mexican American head coach, first to hire a female executive in a professional football team. I believe he was the reason why cheerleaders exist in the NFL. He won several championships. You know, he hired John Madden, and obviously John Madden has gone down as one of the greatest coaches of all time. So a lot of people just remember the last few years of his life where the Raiders were horrible, um, but 100% underrated. One of the greatest owners in sports history, in my opinion.
Nice. Yeah, I remember he was always the owner in my childhood, and I guess I didn't, you know, their heyday was well before I ever started watching football in the late '90s kind of thing. So, or well, yeah, mid to late '90s. So, but yeah, I just remember my favorite part about the Raiders, I guess, was always like you knew they were gonna, no matter what, they were drafting the one guy that could run a 4.240, like no matter what. That's just what they did.
Always got to get the fastest guy.
Absolutely. All right. So I will round out here with my last one. Unpaid or underrated. Ooh, I got a few different ones here. Let's go Las Vegas.
Unpaid. Vegas is fine. Just from like a visiting standpoint. If you asked me this question 20 years ago, I would say underrated because Vegas was like the funnest place ever when I was 21. Married with kids now. Trying to stay as far as away as I can from Las Vegas at this point.
Nice.
Too expensive. A lot of homeless people now. The idea of going to a club or something like that with loud noise, that's like my nightmare at this
Oh
point.
yeah, that sounds horrible.
Horrible. Uh,
I was
I'm too old for that.
too old for that shit. I was slightly fishing more for I guess my point of view of it would be I thought you were gonna take the because obviously they're not in Oakland, they're not in Los Angeles anymore. They are the Las Vegas Raiders. So are you pissed that you lost your local team? I mean, you can still consider it your. I mean, it's still your team, but it's not a team that you can like drive an hour and go watch play anymore. However close you used to be.
In that regards, I don't mind it. I don't, they were playing in Oakland, which is actually further from me than Vegas is.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oakland is like a 6.5, 7 hour drive where I can get to Vegas in like 3.5 hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So that makes sense then.
Yeah. So, and then, I mean, there's pros and cons to it. Uh, they get tons of visiting fans now just because, like, who the hell doesn't, lots of people want to go to Vegas and party for the weekend. Uh, but they have a beautiful stadium. It's a Raiders stadium. It's all blacked out. Everything about it screams Raiders. They don't have to play. They were the last team playing on a baseball field. So, anytime
I
they,
do remember that. I remember always watching
oh,
highlights or even playing. I remember like Madden was actually good about keeping it true. Like their field on Madden, like was running through a baseball field, if I recall, like years
yeah,
ago.
no. So watching the kicker kick a field goal off dirt, was never fun. Um, so yeah, as far as that, yeah, I'm good with it. Um, uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, they were playing in the worst arena, Coliseum in sports. Yeah. I mean, I've been to Oakland Coliseum, and that is a piece of shit stadium. Uh, so yeah, I was happy for see them get a new stadium.
Good deal. All right. Well, I'm
You
gonna
know,
pass.
what's funny as or sad, I don't know, as a Canadian who we consume American media a lot, right? And I think one of the first times I ever realized that people actually live in Las Vegas and it's not just the strip, I think was CSI Las Vegas. And I distinctly remember they would show like the drone shots of like suburban neighborhoods. And I was just like, the hell is that? People actually live in that awful, awful city. I think that was I know that might be stupid of me or naive of me because like obviously they do, but you never saw that in anything that you would consume about Las Vegas. It was always, the casinos, the hookers, and the strip clubs,
Yeah.
because that's what everybody in movies did in Las Vegas. And then you're just like, you have yards? Like, people have like yards in Las Vegas? The hell is that? Anyway.
But people that live in Las Vegas don't go to the strip.
No, obviously, because
yeah,
like you would only do that once and then be like, Bleh. It's like
yeah.
I gotta see these people later. No, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go. Actually, as I am drinking what is advertised as an IPA, I'm going to go unpaid or underrated IPAs.
I mean, I'm gonna say underrated. I know they're super popular, but there's so many people out there that still, like my wife is one of them, that just hates them.
Yeah, my wife does too.
My wife.
My wife.
But it's a bitter taste that you got to get used to. But there's so much more flavor in IPAs than a lot of these other beers. And I mean, depending on which ones you get, I mean, you drink 2 of them, 3 of them, like,
Oh yeah,
you're
you
gonna
get
have a
those.
good time. You're gonna be having a good time.
You get those big 8 to 10% ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to avoid those because those are those things like I'll have one at like maybe 8 p.m. and that one will get me hammered.
Yeah.
And then by 9 p.m. I'm sober again. And I was like, this is not a good fluctuation. My wife calls them grapefruit farts. That she says that's what they smell like. They smell like the asshole of a grapefruit. Yeah, I say that because Keats is advertised as an IPA, but it hasn't been an IPA since like the 1800s. It's actually a lager now, but
Okay.
because it still always has been an IPA,
An IPA,
like they still get to do that. What's your favorite thing about them? Is it like that citrusy flavor of the hops? Have you ever eaten hops?
We talk
I have
about
not
hops
eaten
a lot.
hops.
Yeah, we talk about hops a lot.
Uh,
Well, they honestly taste like pine sol.
Oh, that doesn't sound appealing at all.
Yeah, but here we are drinking them like constantly. Yep.
No, I mean, I was into hazy IPAs for a while, and those definitely were more fruit flavored. Uh, uh,
Yep.
but I mean, now I'm very into like West Coast IPAs, which don't have really the fruit kind of undertones. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the bitterness. I like the bitterness to them. It just makes you at least, taste something.
Do you ever get into the dippas?
No, just I've learned my lesson enough times with my wife. My wife being upset at me enough times.
Same.
So I try to stick to like 6.7 and
Oh, that's
Yeah.
just a
7.
much higher alcohol content, so you get fucking zooted a lot harder.
Oh yeah, dippas
Ye-
zoot you hard at like 8 to 12%
Yeah, yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, they're brutal.
One of
Yeah.
those, I'd be fucked up for.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, one of the like 2 of those, and you're one eye in your TV.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah. I've learned my lesson a number
yeah.
of times.
There, there is one I enjoy, but it's up here. It's called the Bone Shaker, and you're just like you have your one to start your day,
Yeah,
right? And then you're like, that's it. I'm good. Yep. Yep.
yeah.
All right. Unpaid or underrated rompers.
Underrated. They're a fantastic fashion accessory, and you don't have to buy 2 different pieces of clothing. You just need one piece of clothing. You look stellar in them.
Oh yeah.
They come in all sorts of cool designs. I have 2 of them, American flag and St. Patrick's Day.
But that's all you
And
really need.
I could probably go for a couple more.
Do they have the
Uh,
butt flaps? Do yours come with
no,
butt
see, that's
flaps?
the only problem with them
Yeah.
is there's no butt flap.
Yeah.
So the ones I have are very, very, very snug, where I really got to plan out my bathroom breaks ahead of time to make sure my wife is nearby to help shimmy out.
No dippas in the rompers. I get it. Yep.
Yeah, those are you got to make sure you can control yourself a little bit.
I'm gonna do, I think, 2 more.
Yep.
Unpaid or underrated BCAAs.
Unpaid. I've never bought into BCAAs, and maybe I don't know. It's just never one of those things where I was like, I need to have BCAAs in my protein shake or in my water or whatever. I know. I don't know. I don't. I just there's so many things I just don't buy into, and even I mean, protein shakes and creatine. I think for the most part is what or not. They don't need creatine, or if you have a healthy diet, you probably don't even need protein either.
Mm.
I eat terribly, so I need protein shakes. But BCAAs, no, I've never bought into them. It's never been anything of interest to me.
I think
Yeah.
I think I paid money once for BCAAs. And then
was it at a GNC? Did you get scammed at a GNC?
No, it was one of those things that I just heard I needed because everybody was like, you should take these. And then I took them and I was like, these do nothing for me. And I never. And then my one buddy, he's a bit of a bodybuilder and he's learning boxing, right? And we were talking about supplements. And he's like, oh, you got to have BCAAs. And I looked at him and was like, that's why I'm stronger than you.
Yeah.
I don't take those.
Yeah.
You might have a slimmer body and more muscles, but I pretty much deadlift your total right now, buddy. So
Yeah.
I love the guy though, so I won't. All right. Unpaid or underrated being a girl dad?
Underrated.
I'm one too.
Underrated. Having girls is awesome. Yeah, and my girls, so I have two girls, they're 9 and 6. But, both girls, they do jujitsu. They both compete in jujitsu. My 9-year-old's, she's fucking gnarly. No, being a girl dad is awesome because, like I see all my friends that have boys and like those kids are fucking crazy. They're fucking crazy.
My boy is a lot. I've got one of each.
Yeah, and, like that was the goal. We'll have one of each, and that would be awesome. We had two girls, and I'm like, okay, two's enough.
I'm not doing this anymore.
That's the end.
You didn't want to have 6 of the same gender like your parents did.
Yeah, exactly. And like still to this day, my dad's like, oh,
Do you have
you're my
sisters
last
too,
hope for a
or
girl.
is it just boys? Oh, okay,
Just boys.
So 6. Wow, that's
so
a lot.
Yeah, my dad reminds me of that constantly too. He's like, oh. I was hoping so much you'd be a girl. You were such a disappointment. I'm like, thank you. Not only was I was ugly, I was a huge disappointment.
How old's your oldest brother? Like, how much older? How much older than you is your older brother?
He is 2. So
22 years span before having kids. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's a long time to have kids.
So I mean, my dad's 83. Yeah, my dad's 83.
I just meant like I couldn't imagine having kids at like 20 and 42 or whatever the numbers were.
Oh,
Scott's shaking his head. I had mine at like 35. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. This is
it's be like
we're done with that.
Yeah, exactly. I was 34 when we had our second. I'm like, I'm exhausted already.
This is a lot.
I don't think I can keep doing this.
Did you go through the 3-nager phase? Boys don't get that, but my little girl, she'll be 3 in a month and she is already like trying to call the shots in the house.
Yeah, no, my youngest is definitely the more sassy, matter of fact when she speaks. She's the one that is definitely more scary. But yeah, my oldest, she was cool as a cucumber, and that's why we got suckered into having the second.
That's what they do to you. Yeah.
She was so nice.
Was so easy. Yeah.
Great baby, slept perfect. This is gonna be so easy to have a second one. Second one was nothing like that. I was like, this is so rough right now. And yeah, she's the one that's like sassy and just like, I'm like, why did you do that? She's like, I didn't do that. I'm like, I saw you do that. Like, no, I didn't do that. I'm like, I literally just saw you do it. No, that wasn't me. But no, being a girl dad's awesome. And like especially nowadays, with like sports for girls, getting they're opening it up. So like both my daughters do jujitsu. My oldest also does flag football now.
Oh, that's cool.
Where like when we were kids, I don't remember girls playing football or doing really doing like other than taekwondo. They weren't wrestling.
Maybe. Yep. Every now and then we'd have a girl wrestler, or I don't remember, but it was like it wasn't super common. I think like one girl wrestled in like my whole like athletic career.
When I was probably in my late 20s or early 30s, I went to a wrestling event here in my city, and it was like a non-televised. It was WWE. And I distinctly remember seeing little girls in the crowd cheering for the women wrestlers.
Yeah.
And I knew at that point, things are changing. Things are shifting. There's little girls here to see Charlotte Flair. There's little girls here to see Becky Lynch. I knew things were changing, and I'm excited. My little girl today, my work offered to buy us dinner. They said, okay, go out for dinner. Here's your budget. And my little girl ordered a steak.
Nice.
And ate almost all of it. And my boy was like, cheese pizza. That little girl's like, protein. So I'm expecting her to get big and strong. Well, I think you passed unpaid and underrated. Even got a visit from Dodzilla there. Big Hot joined us.
Yeah.
At least someone's video is working, because mine is.
I've asked you twice to reconnect.
No, I know. And I get the same error every time, and I
so
don't.
Zoom's kicking you out because your video's broken.
Yeah, and I don't want to log out and then make another audio file for Nate to have to clip together. So we're just gonna do it.
I appreciate that. We'll do it live.
Sure. All right. Well, Darko, this is where we usually hand it off to you. If there's anything you wanted to ask me and Joey, feel free. If not, we can, round it out.
So I was listening earlier to, was it Jess's?
Yep. Yeah. That was the most recent episode.
So I was thinking of like questions to ask you. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna ask him like when to put up Christmas decorations. And literally right at the end of hers, she's like asked that question. I'm like, damn it. It's a very contentious thing.
Yep.
But all your guys' answers were like very late because like I'm a very early Christmas person. Like I'm gonna put up all my stuff next week. I'm that person, and my wife's that person. We're that house on the street. We will be the first person with everything up. So I was gonna ask that, and she took that question. So I was like, damn it. Other than that, I don't really have too many questions. Again, I do apologize. I wish I would have been more prepared.
All right.
You're good, brother.
We filled 2 hours.
I was extremely nervous. I was like, man, has he ever listened to anything we've done? Does he really follow Massonomics that he just joined to like kind of like get his own product out there? So I was very happy. This is awesome. You did great. This is an opposite episode. I always get fucking no. We've had some stinkers, and this was great. And I am very happy.
I see your thought process now.
I didn't want this to be like I'll come on the podcast just to build my own brand, but then we'd like try to ask shit about you. So, you guys coming in last minute with all the questionnaire answers really saved my day, because I think it was like last night I was like, dude, I got nothing. Like, please
I know.
help me.
I'm so sorry about that.
This was great. It is my burden to bear, and we do it for the crew, and this was a hell of an episode, and I had a blast.
Awesome.
Big Scott, did you have anything for Darko before we log off?
I'm literally on his Instagram right now and had no idea who he was and just looked him up.
Who are you, Joey?
Those dumbbell holders look really sweet.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That's something you just Frankenstein together from rep stuff, right?
Yeah. So I put that together. At some point they're supposed to be sending me a pair of weapons.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Well, now you got
still waiting. Which is kind of a bummer. I sold my Nuo bells a couple weeks ago to my stepdad. He had like 20-year-old power blocks that broke finally, and I didn't want him buying anything else. I was like, "Oh, I'll sell you my Nuos because like they're gonna send me a pair of weapons soon." And then like literally like the day after I gave them to him, it was that 2-month delay, and I was like, "Oh, fuck."
That's great.
I'm still waiting.
How do you break power blocks outside of maybe like the nylon string on the thing that you pull in and out?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't really get into it. I didn't really care.
That's fine. Like I've bought and sold some really beat up power blocks for profit before, and like no matter how fucked up they are, like they still were fully functional. So I got you. No worries.
Yeah, but he likes the Nuo bells a lot better.
Oh yeah, they're super easy. I just don't know about the durability. You drop those, and the fucking click with your wrist ain't gonna be clicking anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the main reason I wanted the weapons. I'm like, just in case. Like, I never dropped dumbbells, but, you never know. But, yeah, I'm still waiting. So, I had to buy some shitty Amazon loadable, adjustable dumbbell handles.
Just to get you through until they can hook you up. Well, hopefully those come through and they don't forget about you. Yeah, because, I mean, that was like 9 months ago you said something about that or something. It was like, I feel like it was at least 6. It was a long fucking time that I remember.
It's been a while. It's been a while, so...
It's been a while.
Hopefully sometime soon.
All right. Well, I think we can start bringing this in for a landing. So I'm going to hit us with the affiliates here. Everybody, save yourself some money and help us get that speedboat. So go ahead and go use code UNPAID at Obsidian Ammonia, Barbell Rescue, Plate Snacks, Home Gym Con, Belt Fed Strength, and apparel from the Strength Co. And Big Darko, where are they going to find you at one more time on the Instagram?
Instagram, you can find me at Darko Lifts, or you can visit my website at darkolifting.com.
Perfect. Where you at, Joey?
And that wasn't code unpaid at Barefoot, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, you can see. I mean, you can always put it in the show. I mean, so actually no. So like anyone. So like if the next like 30 orders they get all say in the show notes or in the order notes code unpaid, maybe we'll get an email from our friends over at Barefoot, and they'll. But no, we obviously don't want to code because I don't want to be
from Shelby. What the hell did you do?
No, I don't want to be direct. Obviously our intent is never to take money out of Tanner and Tommy's pocket. It's always to fucking put money in their pocket. So that is it was obviously a misstep on my behalf, and I'm sure there'll be memes and mockery and fuck all you guys.
Or they'll ignore it and just make fun of me some more. So I'm Joey _Malesko. I'm LECZKO. I don't post a lot anymore, and that's kind of weird. I used to post like weekly, and lately I'm just been at work a lot, so maybe I'll do something later.
Post your deadlifts.
I would love to deadlift. God, I had a session last week, and it was like it wasn't even that heavy. It was like 380 for 4 or something, and I could have cried. It felt so good. I miss deadlifting so much. Like I put them down and I got emotional.
Dude, it's good for the soul.
Yeah. I miss deadlifting, but with work and being a parent and not feeling great all the time, it's just been like I'm down to 3 days a week, but it's not even a consistent 3 days. I just do like one day, and then like 3 days later I'll do the next day. So it's like 3 days within 7 days instead of like what I was doing, which was like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yeah. Now it's like Monday, Thursday, Friday. Like
I trained 3 days in a row last week. It was sucked. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just boom, 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 and then I trained like once this week, once since Monday basically, or since Sunday.
Trained like 7 days. I don't understand.
Yeah. There's a big rock I'm gonna pick up. Maybe that'll be my next video. I keep driving.
Oh yeah.
I keep driving by it and doing one of those like creepy eye, like watch it. And Morgan was like, "Just pull over, dude. Just go pick it up."
There is a landscaping company on my way to work every day, and they just got rock upon rock set out for sale. And I just want it's so hard to just not pull in and
how much is this one weigh?
Them all up.
Yep.
Yeah, bringing my scale with me.
All right, well,
boys.
Thanks, guys.
That's Darko. That's Joey. We got big hot plug yourself real quick, buddy.
Scott Dodds _Dodzilla on Instagram, and vote for my gym in the home gym hub thing. If I win, I think I face Keith next round.
Oh man, that'd actually be a good one. I think everyone will vote for you just to spite me because everyone likes to fuck with me. So
that's kind of what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, you bastard. All right, so our podcast, we got an Instagram, Unpaid and Underrated Podcast. Go check out the website where Nate does all his dirty work, unpaidinternpodcast.com. We got the YouTube, and we'll see you guys next Tuesday.